Hello, everyone. Man, I've got a story for you. Let me get comfortable because I am tired. I have not slept in 24 hours. I have not done that since I was really young in the army. I think they made us stay up on purpose one time. So I feel like sleepy drunk. So just forgive me if I mess things up. So I am back at my house in Grand Junction, and literally these past 24 hours have been crazy. I went to Phoenix to buy this McLaren MP4, and let me tell you, I got to see it in person, and we'll talk about that. It was freaking mind-blowing. It was the fastest car I've ever been in. It was like terrifying and fun and terrifying. So the plan was that I land there, look at the car, and then get in the car the next day in the morning and then drive home. And the reason why is because my son Max, he's here. He's here for the holidays, and he has a special trip. He's learning how to ski, which is awesome. So he was going to be preoccupied, and I told myself I could fly down to Phoenix real quick, look at the car, and drive back and be back before he's even done with his skiing adventure, right? So I flew down there, and before I flew down there, I looked at the app, and the app showed the weather was going to be gray. So I was like, whatever, looks good. And I get down there, check into the hotel, get my rental car, which I got a big old Dodge Ram, which was kind of fun. And all of a sudden, I'm just feeling good, and I show up to the hotel. I don't know why I said all of a sudden, but again, sleepy drunk. So I meet up with the guy with the McLaren. He picks me up. He takes me in a drive in this thing for about 30 minutes, and it was amazing. I mean, it literally handled really well. It was comfortable, and it was insanely fast, and the noises that it made was, I told Elise, like, I am literally ruined for cars. And I know some of you guys might be upset about my future plans, but like, it is literally like I'm ruined. Like, the experience has just captivated me, and I'm in love. I'm absolutely in love, and I really wish I would have purchased the car. But we go to this bus station or whatever that has a lot of lights, and I'm inspecting the car because on the way to Phoenix, I downloaded all the buyer's guide for the MP4-12C. So I learned everything. Look at the headlights and the transmission weep hole and the cam phasers and the doors and all that. And I was doing all my research. And so when I got there, I was looking at some stuff. And I said, you know what? I want the car. So we agreed that the next day in the morning, we're going to go ahead and do all the logistical financial parts, and then I'm going to be on the road back here to Grand Junction with a new car. So I get back to the hotel, and I walk in, and people are talking, and they're saying, oh my gosh, did you hear about that storm? And I stop, and I'm like, I did not hear that. And somebody's like, yeah, it's arriving tonight and it's going to be here for a day or so. And I'm like, what? So I log into Google, and long behold, you guys could Google this because you guys will be shocked. California is like literally flooded. Like, we're talking about cars are just underwater. It's crazy. I'm probably going to put a picture of it here because we can. But I started looking at this, and all of a sudden this system is coming towards Phoenix. So I download the Weather Channel app. I get the Premiere because I want to make sure I get all the bells and whistles so I could track all this. The storm is showing up literally at 5 a.m. and it's going to go on the whole entire day. And on my way home from Phoenix, I have to go through Flagstaff, and Flagstaff is up there. It is high up there. So they have a whole different type of weather system. So while Phoenix gets rain, Flagstaff is getting snow. And let me tell you, I'm here thinking about driving this car in the rain, in the snow. I've never really driven one well. I've got to drive this thing back 9 hours. And then I find out that the path of the storm is following the exact same path that I am on my way home. So I would literally be driving through 9 hours of rain. And so I was kind of panicking because it's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I need to get home. I need to, drive this car home so I could be back for Christmas and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think of stuff. I'm trying to look at maps. I'm trying to do everything. And long story short, I couldn't find a solution. I literally couldn't. There wasn't a lot of options. If I went and paid for the car and was like, all right, good luck, driving the car in that system through snow and rain and stuff like that is not a good idea. As a matter of fact, the rental car I had when I was driving to the airport this morning, it was literally the traction light was going on. And I think it's because of the way Arizona roads are, or maybe it's just the amount of rain they got, but a lot of hydroplane factors. So if you could only imagine how much worse and how much more amplified in a 600 horsepower car. So I was just like, this isn't a good idea. So I try to wrap my head around, I don't want to miss Christmas with my family. They're already kind of looking at me weird because I'm doing all this in the middle of Christmas and stuff like that. And so I literally had to make the choice of buying a ticket home, which is expensive. And let me tell you, I've never been in an airport with Christmas traffic. Holy moly, that was a lot of people. All right, guys, it is the next day and I'm flying back home, not because I don't want the car, but because there's this massive storm that has flooded California and that is flooding pretty much this part of the country. And I just can't drive back because, driving a Mclaren with 600 horsepower in the rain is just not going to work. So, and not only that, I have to be home for Christmas. So I let the guy keep the $500 deposit and I'm flying back home. I mean, I'm sad, but this storm just kind of, in my opinion, just came out of nowhere, really. If you guys go look at the radar, you could see what I'm talking about, but it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But still, though, it was like a double-edged feeling. Like, I was a little bit hurt, but at the same time, I learned a ton. Well, first off, I learned, like, anytime I'm going on a trip, don't trust that Apple app where you just have that little gray cloud. You need to investigate the gray cloud. And so no mysterious super freaking storm comes out of nowhere and floods places. And then another thing, too, is that I realize that this type of car, there's a couple of things I would do differently, and I'm going to do differently. Like some of the videos I watch all the buyer's guide videos. They talked about that in order for you to do a real inspection on a car, you have to get it on the lift and you have to take all the rear diffuser panels off, because that's the only way you can look at the stuff that needs to be looked at, like the transmission weep hole, the sump pump thingy, the bolts, the water pump, the hoses and all that. So, and not only that, with the MP4, they use these kind of clamp-on hoses, crimp hoses versus actual clamps, and a lot of owners have replaced those. And when I buy an MP4, most likely I'm going to want one that's already had certain things addressed, because they're going to cost money, and buying the correct MP4 is important. So long story short, I had to fly back and really couldn't get the car, but I learned a lot and tried something. It was just kind of freak accident. Again, pretty tired, but I thought I'd share with you guys the story and let you know what happened. All right.